I think I'm on. Are we on? Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? How is London today? We've got two drunks here. They've clearly had far too much beer. And Dan here is looking very relaxed, stretched out at the front. How are you all? You all good? We're all a bit spread out. Can you hear me at the back with your headphones on? Give me a yeah. Okay, that's as good as a yeah I'm going to get, although I've got a thumbs up over there. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Mark Taylor. I'm the founder and CEO of a business called Automated Analytics. And I'm going to talk to you about Customer 360 today, which is our solution for the sales industry. So, going to get the clicky bar. Now then, that's me out the Houses of Parliament. I'm not running for a Prime Minister just yet, but I am thinking about it. Now, when I started my career in marketing, attribution came the key for me, and it was one of the tricks that I learnt when I was trying to get more budget and hit my bonus. And that's what it was all about really back in the day. And really where it hit me was when I was at Halfords. I was sat in an auto centre, and there's a phone call. You think, great, there's a phone call. Centre manager answers the phone. Good afternoon, this is Halfords Auto Centre. Very posh back in the day. It was Richmond upon Thames. And the person on the other end of the phone said, I'm on your website, can't book an MOT because the MOT's had a 48-hour booking slot, so you can book it in real time. I'm on your website, I want to book an MOT. And straight away I'm thinking, how the hell can I attribute that to my Google keyword, because that's how I'm going to get my bonus. And when I set up the business, it was literally to solve that issue, is how can I attribute 100% of the sales that I'm generating towards all my marketing activity. So, when I was in marketing, when I was client side, you got this guy called Mark Twain. There are three kinds of lies: damn lies, and statistics. All the while I used to get hit with, okay, but is that incremental? Okay, but where's that revenue? Okay, what's your return on investment? Now, the last time I looked, he didn't do digital marketing, and he definitely wasn't in the marketing team. And I'm not entirely sure that Mark Twain ever ran a PPC campaign. So, the pressure on marketing and CMOs, according to Gartner, is getting greater. You have got to do more for less. Hands up, who has been asked to either cut the budget or is under pressure to save money on their marketing budget. This is the bit of audience participation. So we've had a little bit of audience participation over there. Have we got any over here? Has anybody else been asked to cut their budget or is under budget constraints? So as you can see here, Gartner estimates that your marketing budget has gone down by pretty much 10, 15%. So if you're a CMO, you're being asked to actually do more for less. Now, how are you going to be able to do it, right? It's one of the challenges you've got. Well, I'm going to show you how you can do it through attribution. Now, this chap, John Wanamaker, lovely fella, half my advertising spend is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half. I see that every day, and a lot of businesses that I go into is, okay, so I'm asked to do more for less, but how am I going to do that without actually understanding 100% of my attribution? Now, if you're an e-commerce business, dead easy, plug in Google Analytics, a few other bits and pieces, you're away and you can see all your conversion, see your conversion funnel. But if your conversions go offline, so in the hotel industry, about 50 to 60% of revenue is offline. Weddings, conferences, you cannot book them online. Rooms, you can. You're kind of a little bit snookered in terms of finding out which half of your marketing budget isn't actually working. So, the challenge, and British Gas had this challenge 2 years ago when they first approached us, is 80% of their revenue came through the phone line. How could they attribute that back to their marketing spend? So what they had is they had Google Ads, they had Google Analytics, they had call tracking, they had CRM, they had a bunch of different systems. None of them spoke to each other. None of them tracked 100% of the customer journey. So it meant that they had a massive gap in their business and they didn't understand, well, what is actually my ROI from Google Ads? So, pressing the clicker. Now, just to talk about what is artificial intelligence, okay? You're going to see a lot of artificial intelligence, a lot of artificial intelligence solutions. Artificial intelligence is basically a prediction model. It's as simple as that. So whether it's a robot, it's predicting how to behave based on a certain level of metrics. Now, when you look at AI, there are several different forms of AI. So you've got like the R2-D2 type of AI over here, which is kind of like your machine learning, which is what we deploy. You've then got the Terminator down the other side, which we try not to go down the route of, but essentially with machine learning, it enables you to take in data sets to be able to predict, essentially, the future. Now, what's interesting is, we work with Sheffield University. So our AI is a complex decision tree, which I'm going to show you in a second. And what it's able to do is predict the outcome of a call with a 91% accuracy. Now, whenever you're selecting an AI model, accuracy is where you need to start. Because everybody will tell you they've got an AI model, but if it's not accurate, it's not going to deliver you the results that you want. So, we have a partnership with Sheffield University. I'm delighted to tell you that we've actually been awarded a Empirical Methods in Natural Language Processing Award. This is the highest academic award you can get for NLP. I'll be honest with you, I saw the word Singapore, December, I thought I'd get a holiday out of the business, so I'm going. But this is a significant achievement for our relationship with Sheffield University. And so, essentially, what happens on the decision tree is, the first thing we look at is, was a call answered? So you could be on hold for 10, 20 minutes, you could be talking to the wife, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, and you're on hold, you actually haven't spoken to anybody. That's a missed call, that's the first stage of missed opportunity. Second thing is, what type of call was it? Was it a customer service call, a sales call, a vendor call, an internal call? And the third level analysis we do is, what's actually happened? So, because of the AI model that we've developed with Sheffield University, we can literally take 10,000 calls and analyze them with a 91% accuracy within 0.2 of a second. Back in the day, just to do 100 calls would take me probably about 3 days, because I have to listen to the call recording, understand what's gone on. And so the way the AI works is essentially, it transcripts the call, goes through that call with our AI bot to understand the keywords that are actually said on the page. So what was it that was actually said? What were the keywords used? Did it end up in an appointment? Was it a sale? What actually happened on that call? And then what you have is, you then take your different levels of data. So you take phone data, marketing source data, the speech analytics, your online conversions, and your CRM data, and you're able to see one view of the customer journey very, very easily, very, very simply in one go. Now, let's go back to Dyno. So I can't show you the keywords, although if you're really good at seeing and you don't have glasses, you can probably see those keywords. One of the things our platform does, is you could see, is identify the keywords from Google that were driving customer service calls versus sales calls, and actually if those sales calls converted. So, if you're using a brand term, there is a high likelihood that you're going to get sales from it. There's a high likelihood that you're going to get a lot of customer service calls. With Dyno, and this is a challenge that British Gas had, is that they had a £20,000 marketing budget, or PPC budget. 14,000, they're actually spending on keywords that were driving customer service calls, whereas they were spending £6,000 on calls that were driving sales calls. So instead of actually spending more money, they just flipped the budget, understood what the wastage was, and started to drive a return on investment that way. And what it meant was, is when you look at the improvement in result is, this is 2021, and this is where they started implementing this keyword report. And as you can see here, throughout last year, they received 133% improvement in revenue, right? Now, you're probably thinking, wow, what am I going to do next year? Because if I've already done 133, how am I going to keep this progress going? The value of listening to all of your calls is massive. You will spot things in business processes that you can improve on. So, one of the things that we spotted with the AI, or the AI spotted, was that if the call was answered by the call center, the conversion was 72%. If it was answered by the branch, conversion was 42%. So, with that data, what do you do, person hiding your name badge? I can't see what your name is. Eduardo, what do you do? So, what we do is we put an IVR on a line, press 1 to book a sales call, goes through to the call center, press 2 for anything else. Sales went up by 12%. right? So if you're being asked to do more with less, how can you do that without actually monitoring all of your sales calls that you get in? And so by actually analysing 100% of the calls, you flip the analysis not only into, well, how are my Google Ads working, what ROI, but then you'll come up with blockages in your business as to why those sales calls aren't converting. Now, I'm yet to see a really, really bad PPC campaign, a really bad Facebook campaign, a really bad affiliate campaign. I don't think there's anybody here that gets up every morning and thinks, right, I'm going to create a worse campaign. Often what is limiting that campaign is the delivery of it by the business. So the first thing you do is work out what your keyword strategy is and how you can drive more sales calls. Next thing you can do with this data is focus on conversion. And because you're measuring conversion every day, it means that you can find very, very quickly the blockers within the business that are stopping those conversions. And it can be crazy. So, is Graham, who is the security guard at Gatwick, on a Wednesday afternoon here? He clearly didn't get the invite. So, Europcar use our tech. Graham causes a customer service issue on a Wednesday afternoon at Gatwick. How do we know that? Because when you try and return your car on a Wednesday afternoon, Graham is the security guard and he will not let you pass the return your car barrier unless you've got proof it's a hire car. That actually, Graham has worked at Gatwick for, I think it's about 13 years. And again, Europcar never knew that Graham was actually generating 30 inbound calls on a Wednesday afternoon because they weren't analysing 100% of their calls. And that's a bad customer service experience. So, when you look at Dyno and you think to yourself, well, that's good, we got a really, really good return on investment, you can see that this year, by analysing 100% of calls, that continuation of that growth has gone through the roof. So we've got a 32% growth again this year by being able to analyse 100% of the calls. And this really is the key, and this is what we find in voice analytics. Clients change, customers change, you get seasonality, you get a bunch of different things that go on in your business that have an influence on your marketing results. If you're constantly measuring them, you can see what you need to change, how agile you need to be, what things need to be different. And as you can see from Dyno's point of view, the target that we were set this year is, can we increase revenue by 10%? We've actually grown it by 32, and they're actually spending 7% less than they were last year. So when you're being asked to do more for less, being able to attribute 100% of your sales back to source, but then track those sales to see where they're converting or not converting, can give you that return on investment analysis. Now, when I think, will it work for me, we've got a number of different brands that we work with. So, give an example, Specsavers. Our AI is able to take a call in another language and transcript it into whatever language you want, so English. Specsavers Spain have used our voice analytics to understand the Spanish business. So, the business run out of Gibraltar, they're English speaking, they've got shops in Spain that don't speak Spanish. Within 2 weeks of going live with us, they noticed that people were asking for hearing tests within their branches, but in Spain, they don't offer hearing tests. So straight away, we found a new revenue stream for them. And when I say we found a new revenue stream for them, it was actually the data that we saw that they then picked up on, because we could see hearing aid regularly coming up as a sales call, but not converting because we weren't offering hearing aids. And so again, by analysing those inbound calls, we're able to give Specsavers a new source of revenue that they hadn't seen before, and accelerated that. Europcar, I mentioned Europcar. Did you know that every day 11,000 calls go into their branch network? Why do they call? 28% of those people call because they've got a flat tyre. Branch can't do anything about it. It's a really bad customer experience. Phone in, sorry, we can't help you, got to phone Quick Fit. So what we did is we created an in-rental car app. So you got, on the other side of the tax disc, you've got QR code, press the QR code, sends you to an app, you pick, got a flat tyre, you press the button, and it either connects you to Quick Fit or you book online. Straight away, it's dropped half of those calls. So they're now getting 2,000 calls less a day going into their branches, and they're providing a better customer experience to their customers. So you're attributing the outcome, not just the source of the call or the source of the activity, but actually attributing that outcome will give you a good idea. You're running a lighting business, and you're an e-commerce solution, so underfloor heating, similar-ish to you in terms of they sell underfloor heating. That's why I call the underfloor heating store, great brand. And one day, we could see that there was a massive drop-off in calls. Now, 50% of their sales came from the phone line. 50% came from transactions online, even though it was an e-commerce store. And what had happened was they got an issue with their e-commerce engine that was rejecting American Express. Now, you might not know, but a lot of house builders buy stuff on American Express. So if you have American Express enabled on your booking engine, or your e-commerce engine, it means that you will potentially miss out on some of those big orders. We spotted it in about 3 hours of it dropping down because their calls spiked up with non-conversions. They got the problem refixed, and they were able to grow the revenue. So even though you might be an e-commerce solution, you'll be amazed how much you will pick up by just putting a telephone number on your website and actually having call tracking or voice analytics on it, because all of those people that don't convert on your e-commerce engine are probably going to call you and tell you why they're not converting. So we've seen it with sheds manufacturer, where they were retailing sheds online. It is an online transaction. Again, had an issue with their payment engine, and it happens to be that in March, there is a flurry of activity from school caretakers buying metal sheds. Who knew, right? Who knew? Well, we found out through voice analytics because we could hear on the phone and see on the transcript it was the school caretaker buying the sheds. Immediately launched a promotion off the back of it to drive more and move those sheds up in their spend. So for us, in terms of when we look at a business, and we won't work for everybody with voice analytics, we try not to. We don't want to work where we can add value. Using voice analytics enables you to cut through data, compile lots and lots of data, and get one view of what the actual customer journey is. So, key takeaways are, you want to make your reporting and your optimization easier. So we say to every single client, set clear goals. What are you trying to do? If you're trying to answer the question, why are people calling me? That's a good goal to set, right? That's how we start with a lot of our clients, is why are people calling me? Do you want to increase sales conversions? Do you want to generate more sales? Do you just want clear ROI reporting? What is your goal that you're trying to achieve? The next thing is analyze 100% of your client interactions. So analyze chat, analyze your online form fills, analyze your calls, analyze everything you possibly can. Let AI do the heavy lifting. At the end of the day, AI is there to predict what's going to happen, automate your reporting so it makes it real time. You know, back in the day when I was at Halfords, it would take me weeks to do what I can do in 0.2 of a second. You can make insights far quicker. We generally see most clients within the first 2-3 days will make a massive insight that they never knew actually happened in their business. Don't just track call volumes, but analyze call content. So a lot of you have probably heard of call tracking before, which just tracks the source of the call. Great, but if you don't know what the call's about, is it a sales call or isn't it? And then finally, we call it avoiding vanity metrics. So share of voice, call volume, interaction, great, but your CEO wants to know pound notes. That's what he wants to know. That's what, you know, in my career, where I've been at successes, I've been able to demonstrate if I spend £1, you get £10 back in the till, and we're making a 78% profit. So in my view, if you're going to use AI, use it to actually speed up and make the process quicker. Don't just use it because we're just adding AI to our stack because it sounds pretty cool at the end of the day. AI can help you move very, very quicker and analyze things a lot quicker. So finally, that's it. We're in the stand over there. The lovely Josh Jones, he is from Barnsley. I do apologize. We are based in Doncaster. It is sat there. But if anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask. And there's no questions. So is that me released for good behavior? Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.